I think we need to talk about the 101, aka Bijan Robinson, and the strategy behind it, because I think it's malpractice to go into your draft and say, yep, I'm drafting Bijan Robinson, and that's it. I think there's more to this. I think there's more to the market. I think there's more you need to be doing. And as I always say, when there's value changing or skyrocketing or it's going down, you need to kick the tires one way or another. And this is one of those situations. You really need to be very analytical here. You need to have a plan of attack. You need to know your league. There's a lot of factors at play here. You need to look at your team, where you're at. Does your team suck? Are you in the middle of the road or worse? Can you compete now? Are you ready for a big-time running back? And you're set at wide receiver. You're good at tight end. You have all the pieces. And you know what? That prime running back gets you to the championship instantly. You're a big-time contender. Or you draft this asset, and he does well. He's a very good. You got a Christian McCaffrey. However, you're dog shit at wide receiver. You're sucking at tight end. You don't have a quarterback, but you just drafted this asset that if you kick the tires, maybe you could have got Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase value off of somebody. Maybe you could have got close to that. Maybe you could have caught a bag. Maybe you could have got something. Maybe you could have got a bunch of picks. Whatever it was, it would be a shit ton, and that's something you got to look at. Maybe you're in a league that doesn't trade much. Maybe half your league doesn't trade. The other guys want crazy offers, and you know what? It is what it is. It's all kinds of different things in the spectrum of Dynasty. That's what makes this game great. But if you're a middle-of-the-road team or worse, you're sitting there with the 101, and you're locked in, focused on Bijan, I really want you to take a look at your team, take a look at the league, and really think about trades that you could do. Think about ways you can help your team. Look at your wide receiver core. Are you set at wide receiver for the next 5 or 6 years? How many wide receiver ones do you have on your team? Look at your roster. Break it down. Another thing when it comes to an asset like this, Bijan Robinson, when he's being valued right now, he's being valued as like the 3rd overall player in Dynasty, the 5th overall player in Dynasty. He's holding value close to Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson right now, and it's to biblical proportions, and you might be able to catch that. You might be able to get that. And when we look at them on the trade market, they're usually going for 3 firsts and some change, a player, a prospect, a pick, whatever's going on in that deal. That's what we're seeing on the Trade Finder when we look through these trades. And that's why we watch those videos, me going over the market, because we have an idea of what top players look like. We got a top asset here. A top asset here that people are chasing, people are want. You're holding it. If you don't kick the tires with each one of those league members before selecting that pick, you don't know what's going to come back on the other end. You do not know. And if you're going to just sit there and hit submits and you get a top tier running back for the next 3 to 5 years, maybe 6 if lucky, then that's good. Did you make your team better? How many championships are you going to win on that end? What if you could have landed 4 solid players and you could have turned your ship around? Again, if you're solid, if you're built for it, you're good to go, and you're good to have a Bijan Robinson, and you don't want to do any of your assets or mix up your team, and you know if you add this player, you traded for that 101, you traded to have stock in this first round, you got that 101 due to luck, and you knew that lottery was for you, and you got him, you're good. You're good. But if you earned it, your team sucks, or your middle of the road team, and you got some rebuilding to do, you got some retooling to do, you got the opportunity here that not many Dynasty gamers get over 5-10 years of this top tier asset that's falling into your lap, because you do not get these assets too often that you kick the tires with and see what you can get. He's also a mystery box. You don't know where he's going. You don't know how he'll transition. He'll be a rookie. I'm suspecting he'll be good. I like him. I've been watching him for years. I understand that a lot. But when it comes to building rosters, when it comes to building teams, you have to think about everything else involved. Building at the wide receiver position is very important in Dynasty Fantasy Football. It's very important in your team's longevity. If you have 3, 4, 5 wide receiver ones, that's the way to be. That's the way to chase it. Can you get there? Do you have any of them? Do you have 0 wide receiver ones on your teams and you're just trying to scrap it together? Because you got a piece here that you can probably get a couple right now, off the rip, and some more players and picks on top of that because this value is so high. And if it doesn't happen, worst case scenario, you got Bijan Robinson. Like, what the hell? But if you're sitting here, hands in your pockets, don't know what to do here, you got Bijan Robinson here, huge asset. You have 11 other guys in your league or more that you could talk to, submit offers to, go after what you want. If you got to come back to me asking me if the trade's good or not enough. Not enough. You should be ready to hit submit once it's good. You should feel good about it. You shouldn't have to ask. You shouldn't have to think about it. The deal should be that good. His value is that high. It's whatever you want. If nobody wants to give it to you, fuck them. Fuck them. You got Bijan Robinson. You're good. You're in a no-loss situation here. But you are in a no-loss situation if you don't attempt to kick the tires to see what happens because you're not maximizing this pick's value. And you can do it multiple times. You can do it now. You can do it when you're on the clock. Just see. Again, you want to be told no multiple times a year in your Dynasty League. You want to be told no. Being told no is a good thing. And you want to be told bunches of times. And once you get that one yes that goes your way, that's when you're going to start getting some deals go your way. And you want to be active. You want to be active, knowing what your league mates like, knowing what they want, knowing how they play the game, just getting a good feel of how they want to do things with their Dynasty team, how they want to build. And they may build different in your league versus a different league, and you got to figure that out. One thing it is being social, kicking the tires, submitting offers, talking to them, hitting them up in chat, hitting them up with emails. See what happens. And now you got this chip, the granddaddy of them all, of rookie drafts. And this doesn't happen too often. You feel like it does, but it doesn't happen too often. This is something that happens like once every 3, 5 years or even more that you get a 101 like this. Maybe even 6, 7, 8 years. Maybe a couple times a decade and it's kind of flipped around a little bit. But again, a player like Bijan Robinson doesn't come too often. You got an opportunity here to really reset your team right now. Maybe even compete if you're a bottom dweller. Maybe you can get into the playoffs this year if you deal him away. He's not a sell. He's a tire kicker. And what that means is you go and see what you can get. If not, you roll Bijan and you're good. And maybe you can flip him later. You enjoy the production. It's whatever, baby. You just roll with it. It's Bijan Robinson. You're in a no-lose situation if you kick the tires, take a bag, or roll with Bijan. If you don't kick the tires, you're never going to know what could potentially happen. Bijan is a top-tier mystery box. There's a lot of good shit in it. We still don't know. However, you could be getting these picks and players, these other mystery boxes, all this other shit on the other side that could really help your Dynasty Fantasy Football team. And you may want that bag better. You may want that. You may be killing for that. Somebody on your team with a lot of assets and some other stuff that they can really continue on. If they bought Bijan Robinson off of you, you might be wanting that. And they might be ready to jump the bit to get Bijan. They might not. A lot of you guys might not be able to pull off this deal. And I'm talking to the abyss, but a few of you guys will be able to make it happen. But do not just sit on your hands with this pick and think about, I'm drafting Bijan. That's it. We're rolling with it. You got to catch a bag or catch a top-tier player. Go after Jamar Chase. Go after Justin Jefferson. It's going to take Bijan and a little bit more. Looking at trade analyzers, looking at other trades, it's going to take that and some more. Maybe if you're in a novice league, maybe if you're with a guy who doesn't care, maybe you could flip it. But I'm telling you, the odds aren't great 1-for-1, so you're going to add something to it. You're going to have to be creative. Maybe if you got the 101, 110, something like that, maybe, but I'm not selling those players at face value. I'm going to want some more in return, so you're going to have to pay maybe a little bit more than that. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to just roll Bijan Robinson or sell for a bag. I suggest a bag if I'm rebuilding. If you get multiple pieces, you might be able to retool your team and get back into the money. It's about getting back into the money, getting your team ready to compete, and that's something that you want to look at. With Bijan being this young, this good, this talented, this valuable, if it doesn't happen now, it might be able to happen later. You can enjoy some production, maybe flip them later, do whatever you want. Everything's very malleable here, but it's not if you sit on your hands, if you're lazy with it. You got to be thinking strategy with here. This is what you're doing with the 101. Superflex and 1 QB. You can't sit on your hands with this draft pick. You really have to think things through. And it's going to be different for everybody because everybody's got different teams. Everybody's in different leagues. Managers in leagues act differently. You may not be able to get any deals done, and you're just happy to get a Bijan Robinson for a few years, long term, however his career goes. This is your opportunity, though, to check things out and maybe catch a bag and always get that bag. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What are you doing with Bijan Robinson? And I know the answer for some of you guys because I did a similar video like this about a month or so ago, but I really want to drive it home because we're getting deeper into draft season. And really, some of you guys need to stop sitting on your hands and start looking at what you can potentially do with this draft pick because this is a monumental moment in Dynasty right now. You don't catch assets like this young with this much value. That's also kind of a mystery box. We kind of got a good idea what he's going to become. We kind of got a good idea. We saw it. But the value can really reshape some Dynasty teams. And you really have to be very objective. And being objective with your trades, with what you're doing, is only going to help you out. I want to thank you for watching. Smash that subscribe button on the way out. It's only going to help you with building your Dynasty teams, setting lineups, everything else. All that good fantasy football stuff. And I'll catch you next time.